All right. Hello, everyone. We are here with some blue-white control gaming. It's good to see you all again. I'm trying this YouTube thing one more time. I finally found the time. And I figured now that I've locked up my invite to the standard RC in Dallas, it might be a good idea to just make a farewell tour of standard and all of the decks that define its metagame. Unfortunately, here we can't hold up No More Lies for their turn 2 play. Hopefully, it's just like a schooner and we get to get them with temporary lockdown. Yeah. Been super busy with like Lorcana Academy and Decked Out and taxes and a ton of other behind the scenes things. And this is the first chance I've had in a really long time to do some of my own content. And I am honestly pretty excited about it. And I figured what better place to start than with some blue-white control. I think this might be a little loud for you guys. Let me turn this down a little more. So, what happened? We cracked a clue, found an underground river, and played a surveil land. So the only thing we've got going on here is the one Spyglass Siren. Not super excited about the prospect of temporary lockdowning that, but we can play Field of Ruin, and on the off chance that the opponent plays like a tapped whatever the creature land is called, the Reef, we can kill that and not lose time when we cast our Deluge next turn. The fact that the opponent hasn't played anything on turns, turn 2 might have been because they were missing land, but turn 3 probably means that they have like clunky hand like Shieldred or Aclazots, or maybe Fairy Mastermind makes some sense here. Yeah, they do have it. So on the one hand, that's something that dies to temporary lockdown if we can force it through. Maybe the play here is to Deluge in response. And then if they like tap out for Shieldred or something, I guess if we find a land off Deluge, then we can also temporary lockdown plus No More Lies. I think that's what I'm going to do. These decks don't really run Spell Pierce. No, watch this be the one that does. Ooh, okay, that is the nut low, I think. Wandering Emperor seems good. Yeah, it might just be like one of those hunker down kind of games. Not hitting that 5th land might do us in. So what are they thinking about here for 1 mana? Cut down? Like, what would be even holding priority here? I feel like not much more than cut down would. Maybe like Fading Hope, but these Dimir decks don't tend to run that. Lazav, alright. With 2 mana conspicuously held up. We did find the land that we needed. Unfortunately, we do have enough white, barely. We have enough white. So here's temporary lockdown, and the opponent is going to counter it, and we will counter the counter. Do they control Fairy? Yeah, they control Fairy Mastermind itself. So we do have to counter this. We can't just pay. But a pretty good deal. Dimir doesn't really have a great way to deal with this. I think just the one of Otawara and no other way. And here's the bat, but unfortunately for my opponent, our hand is juiced. Whichever board wipe they don't take will be the one that we cast. They should probably therefore take... Yeah, that was probably right. I mean, taking Depopulate means I have to Sunfall, and if I draw another land, that means I can't hold open No More Lies. In any case, Depopulate's going to draw them a card. Which I'm not thrilled about. But it also draws me a card, because I get this Sunfall back. Found our Otawara. And they know about everything in our hand but except this second Depopulate. Opponent has nothing to flash in on end step, so I don't know what could possibly be in their hand here. It's got to be all removal, right? Nothing else makes any sense. All right. I mean, this will give them an opportunity to use it, which stinks. Okay, so it's like Bitter Triumph or something. They can target the... Oh. So that's what was holding priority. That's just bad, right? Like, do I even care? At the same time, this No More Lies probably isn't getting any better. Because they are flooding. And I guess Cut Down would make some sense here for this 2/2. Disruption Protocol's outstanding. I would have loved land number 7 to threaten to flashback this Deluge, but can't always get what you want. I suppose I should have attacked first. This lets them cut down, knowing that I'm not going to buff it. But they probably would have cut it down in combat anyway. And we'll try to swing out. Again, holding this Field of Ruin in reserve for one of their creature lands. Opponent having a hard time deciding whether to cut down this 2/2 or not. Bit of a rock and a hard place for the opponent. They know that we have the board wipe in hand, but just 1-for-1ing themselves on these Wandering Emperor tokens feels so bad, and I'm not going to bother countering that. That's not a relevant card. If they want to trade, 1 for 1.5 or 1 for a half, then I'm okay with that, and that's why. Yeah, we are not allowing that to resolve. Now, if they have another, then we're in trouble, but they don't. Great. So that is like a weird Dimir. Wow. Way to go, Arena. Anyway, that is a weird Dimir mid-range pile that happens to be running Breach in the main deck. They also had... Rona's Vortex is just an odd one. Spellstutter is weird, right? Like, you're almost never going to control a fairy unless they have some fairies in the deck that I'm not thinking of. And in that case, just Make Disappears better. Like, strictly. But, alright. So, I think we want another temporary lockdown against them. Siege Shark seems good because they probably board out some of their removal. I don't think I'm into Jace. I think Jace is going to be a little difficult to defend. Hullbreaker Horror. Yeah, I think I'm in for that. Against Breach, I feel like Negate is actually pretty important. I can trim on the 1-for-1 removal a tiny bit. Celestis on the draw, maybe not great. Need 4 more cuts. This is a lot of counter magic on the draw. Excuse me. Maybe we're supposed to cut some number of these. But it is important to force through our board wipes. Breach doesn't target graveyards, so Dennick is not inspiring. Yeah, I think I'm just not into Celestis, and I think I'm going to trim some number of No More Lies. But I think the get loss are not really where I want to be. I guess the plan here is just force through board wipes. I'm not sure that's right. This Dimir deck is always really hard to play against, and the opponent's particular brand, which is like a big Dimir midrange, is particularly hard to sideboard against. Here we have No More Lies on 2. That might be too slow to do anything. Yeah, not keeping land number 5 yet. We did draw to populate, that's pretty good. Disruption Protocol will come in handy later. So here we get to No More Lies and then just slam the Siege Shark and hope that's good enough. I think I'm in. The Shark puts them under quite a bit of pressure. And if we can create a incubator token, then that turns on Counterspell, and the opponent's had enough. Bit of a weird game. Yeah, opponent's deck was pretty weird. I don't know why you just scoop there to a Sea Shark, but maybe they knew they boarded out all their removal and there was nothing they could do. I'll be right back. It looks like I need to restart Arena. Like this is just an absolute mess. Okay, so if we're up against Convoke here, this hand doesn't really do it. Up against almost anything else, this seems okay. We don't have double white for Wandering Emperor. Opponent mulliganed. I'm going to keep this. Given that they mulligan, their hand's probably not perfect, so even if it is Convoke, we can hopefully slow them down enough with March and just draw into the answers that are in our deck. I don't know why Untapped isn't working. Alright, well, if you're not going to show me any cards Untapped, then we'll just get that out of the way. Okay, so opponent shows Spara's Headquarters. So probably up against Domain. And that, I think, is a little bit rough for us. Obviously, Cavern of Souls plus Atraxa changes this from the kind of matchup that you would expect Control to dominate to one where actually they have the inevitability. And we just don't have a ton of good ways to pressure them. Okay, so they get to draw a card off this up to Beanstalk. We have the option, I guess, of marching it, but we have to throw away the Emperor to do it. I think it's unlikely that they're going to play a 5-drop spell next turn anyway, like Leyline Binding or something like that. So I think we can chill and just develop our mana a little more. No more lies. Is there anything on 4 that I'm interested in countering? I guess that that battle. The one that Invasion of Zendikar. But I think I just want to develop the mana. If they have the battle, then okay. We get to flash in a Wandering Emperor and No More Lies something, as long as they don't have Cavern of Souls. I guess, yeah, this is also a realistic possibility that they just have a tap land and only have 3 mana up. So another argument in favor of the Celestis. We do have this Field of Ruin, which I should probably develop next, because if they play Cavern of Souls early, like they're forced to. What? Okay, we're off the map. I have no idea what this is. Domain Shell Imidane's Recruiter? I do not understand. Well, that definitely makes me happy we have these board wipes, because whatever they're doing, it's got to be tokeny. I definitely want to be hitting my land drops in this matchup. What's my worst card? Counterspell all of a sudden seems really good. I think I'm just... But I really want to kill the Beanstalk with this March. Tough. Alright, I'm going to pitch this Mirrex, I think. And... if we do this, we have exactly No More Lies mana left, so I think I'm in. Yeah, that's the invasion. Maybe I'm not supposed to counter that. Maybe I'm supposed to counter the thing it leads into, but they couldn't, like, they missed a land drop and they could be stuck. 6 mana. I think I want to reserve the right to Memory Deluge, looking for a counterspell if they play something that matters. And if not, I can flash in the Wandering Emperor on end step and start making some progress. I am a Dane's Recruiter. What on earth? Yeah. I guess... Here, let me deluge here. And because I really, really want to hit my land drops in this matchup. Meticulous Archive. Actually, let's get Restless Anchorage because we may need to aggro them down. And I'll just get this to deuce and cast it now. Okay. So if we play this, if we turn it to day, yeah, I don't see a good reason to do that. We have 4, 5, 6 mana, which is enough for Wandering Emperor plus Crack Clue or whatever. But I think I want the 7th mana to threaten to flashback this Deluge. Maybe the Recruiter is just in here as a way to haste up Herd Migration tokens, so it's an instant kill rather than a grindy game, but this seems awfully optimistic. Like, you had to take out something to put this in. Like, imagine if this was just, like, imagine if this was an angel or something. It'd be a much bigger threat rather than just 2 damage per turn that I can keep soaking. And if allowed, I'm just going to flashback this Deluge. They're on 6 mana now. It's possible they're sandbagging a Cavern of Souls, but I think that's unlikely because they missed a land drop earlier. Spelunking, you say? Sure. That's 4 mana. Jace seems great. And I think, I mean, they have 7 mana in play, so No More Lies holds off Atraxa for 1 more turn. I think I buy that. So if I Jace here, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 mana. If I Jace here and plus I mean, I guess. So this leaves us with 4 mana. That lets us Wandering Emperor or Memory Deluge or double No More Lies. We can -2, actually, and it'll still live through Recruiter. They have 45 cards. Problem is if they Leyline Binding here, they can pay for No More Lies. So I think I'm actually going to mill them. Also, I get a better look at their library, like what's going on here. Mill Cavern of Souls, Case of the Locked Hothouse. You look at the top card and play lands and cast creature and enchantment spells. Sure. Alright. Well, can't draw any cards here with the clue or whatever because A, that'll take the shields down, and B, we'll have to discard to hand size. Opponent did not have the Leyline Binding. Well, they do now. Yeah, that's a shame, but nothing we can do about it. Maybe one day we can kill it. I guess we only have, like, Otawara. I don't think we have Destroy Evils, but we do have Get Losts, actually, so we have that going for us. We're certainly not taking the shields down here. And... do I want to kill this thing? Pretty sure I want to resolve the Wandering Emperor, if nothing else. And it's likely, well, it's unlikely, I think, that they have another Leyline Binding because they didn't use it on my end step. So that was probably off the top. Yeah, let's just get this out of here, protect the Emperor. Maybe I'm supposed to make a Samurai in case they have an answer for this, but I really just don't think they do. Yeah, 8 mana. I don't really want to cast 2 spells because my spells are expensive. I really want to flip it today. We could pay 4 to do that with the Celestis, but I kind of want my mana for their turn. They're on 40 cards in library. Like, if I can find Get Lost and kill the Binding, then Jace will mill them for another 15, and if that happens at an opportune time, then that's great. Herd Migration. Obviously, it's not going to resolve, but as a matter of sequencing, let's crack the clue first. Okay. Deduce. All right. I guess, yeah. I guess we're cracking the clue here. Find March. That is oh, well, okay. There's Get Lost. I was going to say March is a very expensive answer to a Leyline Binding. At the execute that I went to the other day, one of the players, one of the blue-white control players tried to exile a Planeswalker with March, just feeling like it hits everything. It's not that good. I think I just do this now. We hit another Cavern of Souls. That's what we hit the last time, too. If we cast another spell, it flips today. There's just nothing I realistically want to cast. Yeah. Archangel of Wrath. No, thank you. All right, should be, I would think, smooth sailing from here. Actually, I want to keep hitting my land drops. But I think I also want Wandering Emperor, and Deduce can find me a land drop. Or we just draw one naturally, because we are extremely talented at this game. Do I plus or minus? We have a lot of cards. I think that just means I plus. Because if I minus, I just need to go to discard. And I think milling them is a realistic win condition. Not that, like, discarding a temporary lockdown or something is so bad, but... How many Cavern of Souls have we seen? 1, 2... I suppose that resolves. Just 2. All right, sure. I am honestly just really tempted to march this away and keep chasing them. We live in fear of Atraxa, of course, but they're on 7 mana, and we have no more lies, which means we're good for another several turns. Wow. You got it, my friend. You know what? Yeah, let's do this. Give me that. Do not need another temporary lockdown. I am, however, interested in a meticulous archive. Let's make a samurai. Defend our planeswalkers from this 1/1 that's coming. We have 7 cards in hand. We're going to play a land, so that means we can safely draw with Jace and keep milling them. I think I'm down to play an untapped land and just start getting busy with at least one of these creature lands. And I think just one. If I map and I hit a land, then I need to go to discard. All right. I guess. They have these maps that lockdown would wipe up, but realistically, I'm not super worried about that, and I do have Sunfall. Although I guess maybe they're like really... Okay, well... Maybe they're really in on the like go wide token plans because we saw that recruiter. Weird game. Yeah, normally this matchup feels really rough for us, but they have some odd inclusions in the deck. They have Spelunking. Case of the Locked Hothouse is really weird as a value engine. Because, like, part of the problem with the Domain deck is that, like, almost everything is super expensive or a land. So, like, playing cards off the top might not be super great for them, but also, like, Beans is probably just better. And I guess the only other weird inclusion is Imidane's Recruiter. Anyway, bring in the Jace. Seed Shark, I think, is important. Tidebinder is awesome. Take out the lockdowns. On the draw, negate is a little weird. Like, normally being on the draw makes the counterspells worse, but... And it doesn't hit Beans. Realmbreaker is awesome. Like, just as part of the mill plan. I don't think they're going to have a whole lot of counter magic of their own to enough to bring in the Hullbreaker Horror. I think I'm fine cutting the Depopulates. Sunfall, I think, handles a lot of things pretty well. I don't want to cut any of the counter magic. So one more cut. Honestly, probably 3 more cuts. Got a Sunfall. Yeah, and maybe it's 2 negates on the draw and 2 marches on the play. Okay. Pretty reasonable opening hand. We don't have anything in the way of early pressure, but the deck just isn't very good at doing that. The only thing we could realistically wish for would be a Seed Shark, but maybe we can even find one with the combination of Deduce and the Surveil land. Field of Ruin is excellent as well. I think I'm in. If they play land, like tap land go here, then, yeah, of course they have Beans. I think we can still hold up No More Lies here, and if they don't do anything, we deduce. It's not an emergency to kill this Beanstalk yet. I, like, don't care. Honestly, I do not care about this card. Maybe I should, but I don't. We find Jace. And now we have to ask, do we kill the Beanstalk here? What could they play on 5 that would draw off beans? Sunfall wouldn't really do them any good. I guess Leyline Binding. If I play Jace, that gives them a target for it. Alright. Let's go ahead and just say go. And I don't think there's... I guess they could have Nissa or something. That would be a reason to kill the beans on my turn. But I think we're just going to chill. Play Get Lost, stop them from getting any value off this. If they want to, you know, cast Leyline Binding and eat my clue, you got it, I guess. That's a reasonable exchange for them, but the getting rid of the beanstalk is more important, I think. Next turn, probably have to play the Field of Ruin. Oh wow, nothing. Tank, 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 nothing. So they do have the Leyline Binding. They just decided to hold it for a better target. All right, let's grab this Field of, or play this Field of Ruin and threaten their Cavern of Souls if they play it. Getting to the point where this No More Lies should be cashed in. But not yet. I think I'm down to flash this Wandering Emperor in. If they have a counterspell, okay. Yeah, sure. They have no untapped blue now. That was their only blue source. So I can play Jace and hold up No More Lies, and if they have Atraxa, then that's good enough, unless they have exactly Cavern of Souls, in which case I'll be very sad that I didn't hold up Tidebinder. So I think we just say go here, holding up Tidebinder and cracking the clue. Ha! Gotcha. Alright. I mean, I say gotcha, but, like, they do still have a 7/7. Maybe I'm supposed to crack the Field of Ruin first, and then not crack the clue. Yeah, maybe. We just do this now. I guess that does let them fetch a white source and Leyline Bind me on my turn. Maybe this should have been in their upkeep. Yeah, realistically, it probably should have been. Yeah, I think that was a sizable mistake, actually, doing that on my turn. Because this Spelunking means that any land they put into play comes in untapped. Although they fetch basic planes anyway. I think I'm just going to play Field of Ruin in case they have another Cavern of Souls. Although at this point, them playing Cavern of Souls, Field of Ruin is not a reasonable answer anymore. They're on 44 cards in library. We have another Tidebinder. If they Leyline Binding the Tidebinder, then Atraxa gets big and scary again. We'll need an answer for that. And at present, we don't have one. Yeah, that's bad news. So this is kicked once. So they kicked it once to play around No More Lies. But what that doesn't do is play around the second Tidebinder. So they're going to target the Tidebinder here, and if we let it go, then we're going to get domed for 7. We'll need to find an answer for the Atraxa. I think this is okay. I don't love it. If they have a counterspell for this Tidebinder, then better that they get it out on the Tidebinder than on the Wrath that we're inevitably going to have to find. "44 cards in library. That is a long way off from getting milled with Jace. Really not sure about that Tidebinder play. Doesn't even really take the pressure off all that much. So, So our hand stinks. And they have 12 power if they're able to answer these Tidebinders. I do think that we do just need to cast Jace here. And see what we draw. How many cards in there bin? Not even close. Not even close to 20. Memory Deluge is not good enough. Don't love this. They're on 8 mana here. And they both go face. So I think we block the Atraxa with the one locking down the Archangel. So that we at least have a blocker for Atraxa on the next turn. Play something, please. I would love to be able to cash in this No More Lies. No, just double cycle. Need to find one of those Sunfalls. There's only 2 left in the deck. How about another Jace? There's no more depopulates. I took them out. So if we Memory Deluge, we won't be able to cast whatever we find anyway. Yeah, let's just mill them some more. Draw a Celestis. Okay. If they have a Leyline Binding for the Tidebinder on my end step, we can No More Lies it. But we might just be dead. If they have Leyline Binding, the right thing to do is wait till their turn, of course. But it looks like they just have a whole lot of nothing. They've cycled 3 straight Triomes. We are at this point dead to removal. Yep. Take 5 down to 3 and see what the opponent's got in store. All right. Deluge it up. Opponent didn't cast any spells either, which gives us the option to we're going to loot one more card, with the Celestis on our turn. Because it'll flip to Night, we'll gain a life. They have how much mana? 3, 6, 10. Yeah, so No More Lies is past prime. We found a Disruption Protocol and a Restless Anchorage. Probably just need to main phase this Deluge, looking for Sunfall, and then being sad when they have the counterspell. Alright. Let that go, I guess. I am taking way too long. Gotta speed it up a little bit. There's Sunfall. I guess I want a Restless Anchorage. I guess I already had one. Spray and Pray. I should have played one of these and used the Celestis for mana. They're gonna make a Samurai and that will kill Jace anyway. So let's just mill them for another 3. Getting there, kind of, sort of. We're dead to a number of combinations of cards now. Yep. Oh. Of course. The Imidane's Recruiter off the top for lethal. Not just for Convoke anymore. Okay, so what did we learn from that game? We learned that even if the Tidebinder stopped the Atraxa, you need to be able to kill it. But we did keep in most of our, like, 1-for-1 kill spells. I honestly don't think the sideboarding is the problem. Maybe I'm down to cut 2 marches and bring in 2 negates. Because on the play, those negates will be able to trade with beans. Maybe I do want the lobster as well. No, I just don't feel like it fits the plan. All right, game 3, hand sucks. Yeah, this one's not keepable, unfortunately. This one's okay. Tidebinders are good. Negate is situationally good if they have beans. I would love to negate 2 into Shark on 3. Yeah, maybe 1 Tidebinder's enough. Island go. Another Shark. I wonder if I play Field of Ruin, does it bait them into playing the beans because they think I don't have No More Lies up? Let's try that. Nice. And there's the No More Lies. All right. Okay, fine. I guess. And they miss land drops. Okay. All right. Probably threw in the towel a little early there. Like with a Beanstalk in play and, you know, Domain of 3, any Triome is pretty good. And I assume, I mean, they saw the Sharks in game 2. And so I assume they kept in some amount of removal. But, I guess they weren't interested in playing anymore. Okay, so that is it for this game. Let's head on over to the deck list and see if we would make any changes. This deck was piloted by Moondrius to a 5-0 league on Magic Online. Overall, it felt pretty solid. The main problem with Blue-Eye Control in this format, I think, is choosing your answers. So the question is, like, how many copies of Get Lost do you want? How many copies of March do you want? How many copies of Temporary Lockdown do you need in the main deck? And the problem is that the cards that are really good against some things are terrible against others. So, like, March is just not particularly good against Domain, but it can be a much better answer for the Convoke enchantments than Get Lost is. Get Lost, giving them the maps, that isn't great. Disruption Protocol, whether or not you want to play that, is also a question. You need to have a decent density of artifacts in order to do it. But between Mirrex and Deduce and the Sea Sharks in the sideboard, you often have them. Jace, I think I've been impressed with. When I was playing Esper Control testing for the RCQs, I was really thrilled with Realmbreaker. When I played the standard 75k in Chicago, I even ran 2 of them. It was that good. And I think I'm happy with 1 total. Deck being in the board is a little weird. Like, it's there to deal with the graveyard synergy decks more than anything, and also just be a 2/3 lifelinker against Convoke like we saw. I have not been impressed with it as a type of graveyard hate. It doesn't stop. Breached Multiverse, and Slogurk usually has an easy time dealing with Dennick with something like Odawara or some other kill spell. 4 Field of Rune's non-negotiable. If you don't have it, you're going to have a very hard time against Domain. Love the Surveil lands. I think most lists I was playing had 4 Restless Anchorage. I do like dropping that a little bit to be able to play the Surveil lands, because if you think about it, you don't actually have a whole lot of card selection in this deck, right? You have the 4 copies of Deduce, and you have the 4 copies of Memory Deluge, and you don't have a whole lot of ways to draw yourself out of a situation if your turn 2 Deduce doesn't find you what you need. So every extra card you get to go deep in the early game matters a lot, and so I am a big fan of these Surveil lands. Anyway, that's it. Oh yeah, also, I'm not a huge fan of Hullbreaker Horror in this format. I don't think it belongs. If you're expecting a bunch of Dimir control, or Dimir Midrange, then it's pretty good. It's uncounterable. It blocks a lot of their smaller stuff, but every other deck in the format is not particularly concerned with a 7/8. So anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you want to see me do in the future. Any feedback, I am listening. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.